All right. We have been discussing the concept of cell wastes and cell waste and its relationship to aging and the disease process. Notice, by the way, I said disease process. This is a key element, the idea of process. The idea of process is a major principle of what I call the bright side philosophy. The fact that disease is a process means that it changes, for better or worse. It's not staying the same. Our disease states, our condition, the health status of our body is either going to, if we have a disease state, it's either going to progress or it's going to reverse. One or the other. It's not going to stay the same. So what do we want? What exactly is it we want? We have a choice in the matter. Do we want to allow the process to continue? Then all we need to do is keep doing what we're doing. If we do nothing to the system, the body will continue on its degenerative process. That's pure physics. A body in motion will tend to stay in motion. Keep doing what we're doing, and you'll keep getting what you got. Do the same thing over and over again, you'll get the same results. To expect anything different is the definition of insanity. On the other hand, by making changes in how we live our lives, by making changes in how we proceed in our daily mundane activities and how we address our health and health challenges if we have them, we can make changes in how our body shows up. The body and disease are both verbs. They're not nouns. When we say, I have fibromyalgia or acne or cancer or an autoimmune disease, we're making our disease verb into a noun. We're objectifying it. We're making our disease into a thing. At that point, we lose our power. And at that point, our doctor's going to tell us we're going to be on this drug for the rest of our life. I hear this all the time, and nothing, as a healthcare professional, nothing makes me more angry than to hear somebody who we entrust to take care of our health say, you're going to be on this drug for the rest of your life. You're stuck. This is you. You've got this, and that's it. Instead of a disease process that's occurring in our bodies, which can be reversed, we now have a disease. We have a noun. It's attached to us like our arm or a leg. We lose our power, and the medical model gains it. The doctor, the hospital, the pharmacy, the insurance company, they now own our power. They now have power over our lives. They now have the power of life or death. Oh my God, I can't get insurance. Oh my God, I can't get my drugs. If we think we have a disease that is, it's understandably terrifying if we can't get our medications, if we can't get insurance. But if we think that it's a disease process that can be reversed simply by changing the way we operate, then we have our power back. If we think we have a disease and we're just condemned and that's that, and then we can't get our insurance, and then we can't get our drugs, that's terrifying. This is why we accept having our organs removed. This is why we accept having our bodies carved up, having our organs removed, being poisoned to death with drugs. This is why we accept government intrusion into the most personal aspects of our lives. After all, we have no choice. We have a disease. We need Obamacare. We have a disease. We need prescription drugs. We need the doctor. We've been branded, we've been marked, and that's it. On the other hand, once we understand the nature of the body and health, as well as disease, as a process, that means that at any given moment, we can change. We can eliminate offending agents. We can put in healthy food. We can drink healthy, clean water. We can breathe deeply. And we can use nutrition, the mighty 90 essential nutrients. We can exercise. We can stimulate the healing mechanisms with which we and our bodies come divinely equipped. The cancer-fighting, antibacterial, disease-fighting elements of the immune system and the regenerating, renewing, and healing processes that are built into our bodies. This is a message of empowerment. It's taking our power back from the medical model by doing the things that the body needs to have done. There's no prescription drugs that the body needs. None. Not a one. There's no medical strategies that the body needs. None. Not a one. What does the body need? It needs the mighty 90 essential nutrients. It needs oxygen. It needs to be stimulated, and it needs to be detoxified, and poisons need to be eliminated or at least reduced. The intake of poisons need to be eliminated and reduced. The last couple of episodes, we've been talking about the accumulation of cell waste as a cause of aging and disease.
One of the most significant forms of cell waste is something called lipofuscin, which basically means sticky fat. Lipofuscin is actually a complex, a waxy complex of fat and protein and minerals. It accumulates in the cells as they become weakened from a lack of energy. The incinerators, as we've been saying, the chemical incinerators that ordinarily burn waste inside a cell, runs out of energy and the waste starts to accumulate, starts to back up. This lack of energy is caused by a lack of nutrition. Simple. Lack of nutrition, also lack of oxygen. That means a nutritional supplement program is a must. It isn't going to come from food. It is not going to come from food. Get that mythology out of our heads. It isn't coming from food. You got to get on a nutritional supplement program. The Healthy Start Pack is strategy number 1 for keeping lipofuscin out of control. And of all the lipofuscin nutrients for keeping cells lipofuscin-free, waste-free, none is more important than vitamin E. One of the mechanisms for the production of this cell waste, the sticky fat, lipofuscin, sticky fat and protein and minerals, one of the major mechanisms involves the oxidation or the burning of cell fats. Now, under ordinary circumstances, this burning, this incineration is complete and there's no waste that's left over. However, when those lysosomes, when those little chemical incinerators start to break down, that waste starts to build up, and vitamin E is very, very protective against the formation of that waste. Vitamin E is a fat antioxidant. Oxidation is a kind of burning. When fat starts to burn, it leaves a residual. By keeping fats from breaking down, we're less likely to have lipofuscin form. This makes sense considering that the number one many studies show that the number one cause of lipofuscin accumulation is vitamin E deficiency. And considering vitamin E isn't going to come from food, folks, what does that mean? You gotta supplement with vitamin E. All right, hang tight. We'll continue this discussion when we come back from our break. I am Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. Okay, so lipofuscin, cell waste, best way to, a lot of great ways to help reduce the formation. One of the best ways is to prevent the rusting or the oxidation of fats. Vitamin E is your chief anti-fat burning nutritional supplement. Vitamin E deficiency is very common. Vitamin E is not found in a lot of foods. You got to supplement with the stuff. There's lots of studies that have demonstrated a link between vitamin E deficiency and the formation of lipofuscin. And there's a lot of studies that show a decrease in the lipofuscin, in the formation of lipofuscin waste when vitamin E levels are increased. What's more, the longer you take your vitamin E, the more significantly lowered your lipofuscin levels and lipofuscin development will be. How can you tell if you're deficient in vitamin E? Well, if you're not supplementing, the chances are pretty good you're deficient in vitamin E. And if you're not supplementing with vitamin E and you're starting to get those brown spots on your face or on your hands, you most definitely can use a vitamin E supplement. You need around 400 international units a day of vitamin E. You can take more. It's pretty much benign and non-toxic. If you went crazy and took a whole bunch of vitamin E, you might get a little diarrhea, but that's about it. And you'd have to take a bunch of vitamin E for that to happen, 3,000 IU or something along those lines. You're not going to get vitamin E from foods. As we've said many times, the best food sources are seeds and grains and oils that are derived from those seeds and grains, but there isn't a whole lot of vitamin E. 4 ounces of wheat germ oil, which is one of the best sources of vitamin E, contain less vitamin E than you're going to get in one 400 international unit 400 IU international unit capsule. So unless you plan on guzzling half a cup of wheat germ oil every day, you might want to consider getting yourself on a good vitamin E supplement. There's two forms of vitamin E, two major forms of vitamin E. One is called tocopherols. That's the kind that you'll see in most supplements. The other is called tocotrienols. That's like a super vitamin E antioxidant. And that's especially beneficial for preventing the formation of this aging pigment. So you got tocopherols, those are good. The tocotrienols are even better. They're a little bit pricey. You have to go out of your way to find them. But if you're interested in anti-aging, if you're serious about anti-aging, if you're serious about preventing the formation and accumulation of lipofuscin, if you're serious about preventing the rusting or oxidation of fats, if you're intaking a lot of fatty foods, or if you're using nutritional oils as a supplement, you pretty much want to make sure that you're using vitamin E. And you probably, personally, I'd be using the more expensive form of vitamin E, the tocotrienols. That's, by the way, is Tocotrienols, tocotrienols. Another really important and effective lipofuscin removing substance is called DMAE. Man, I love this stuff, DMAE. DMAE stands for dimethylaminoethanol. We're just going to call it DMAE. And there are so many benefits. We're going to spend quite a bit of spend at least a day or so talking about this stuff because there's so many benefits to it. DMAE is an anti-lipofuscin supplement, but it's much more than anti-lipofuscin. It'll help you remove this stuff. It'll help its formation of cell waste. But DMAE is also very important for enhancing the production of one of the most important chemicals and one of the most important brain chemicals, thinking chemicals, focus chemicals in the body, something called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is technically called a nerve hormone, or if you're a scientist, you'll call it a neurotransmitter. It's a brain and nervous system chemical. We've talked about choline a lot on the bright side. Choline is important. It's a B vitamin-like substance. Choline is important for improving fat absorption, for sugar metabolism. Choline may help improve hormone health, especially when it comes to estrogen metabolism. Postmenopausal women have higher needs for choline, and choline supplements can offer protection from estrogen-related health issues, fibroids, from cysts, from PMS issues, from endometriosis. All that's great and makes choline a very valuable supplement, but when you add a little bit, or when the body adds a little bit of acetic acid, that's vinegar, body makes its own vinegar, and when this little chunk of vinegar, remember Tinker Toys, chemistry's all about Tinker Toys and sticking parts onto the Tinker Toys. When the body sticks a little piece of acetic acid or a little piece of vinegar onto choline, boom, you get super choline. Choline plus this little piece of vinegar, little piece of acetic acid, you get supercholine, which is known in the world of biochemistry as acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is one of the most important molecules in the body, one of the most important molecules in the brain and the central nervous system. It's kind of like a hormone. It's a nerve hormone in the sense that it signals or commands cells to perform various functions, but it works on the very specific type of cell, the nerve cell. So it's a nerve hormone. Hormones command cells to do certain things. Nerve hormones command nerve cells to do certain things. Acetylcholine is a nerve hormone. In fact, it's the quintessential brain and nervous system chemical. It's a nerve transmitter, technically neurotransmitter, which simply means that it facilitates the conduction of electrical energy across nerves and across brain cells. Long story short, acetylcholine is very, very, very important for the brain and for the nervous system. Acetylcholine is a relaxing substance. It's said to be inhibitory. That makes it a key player in the relaxation component of nerve firing. The nervous system works by balancing surges of electrical energy with a cessation of electrical energy, on and off, 0, 1. It's like a computer. A computer is said to be binary. It has zeros and ones. Well, the nerves are binary in this sense too. Instead of zeros and ones, the nerves are on and they're off. The on is regulated by hormones and the off is regulated by hormones. The off is regulated by acetylcholine. This on-off creates a pulsation effect, and nerves fire in a pulsing sort of fashion. On, off, on, off, on, off. And the off is regulated by acetylcholine. And adrenaline is the neurotransmitter that is responsible for the on, for the firing. So adrenaline on, acetylcholine off. Acetylcholine opposes adrenaline. It's responsible for the off phase of this nerve firing. Acetylcholine plays an important role in muscle movement. When you're moving your muscles, you can't have them totally contracted. That's not going to be movement. In fact, a lot of diseases are caused by chronic muscles not relaxing, muscles staying stiff. Palsies and tics and movement disorders are all defects in this on-off pulsation. Palsies and tics and movement disorders are connected to defects in acetylcholine chemistry. Myasthenia gravis is the classic acetylcholine-related disease. Myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disease where acetylcholine is affected. Actually, the little plugs that acetylcholine sits in, the so-called receptors, are attacked by the immune system. There's lots of different diseases that are caused by defects in acetylcholine. We'll continue this discussion on our next Bright Side episode. I'm Pharmacist Ben, taking your calls when we come back. 855-660-4261 is our number. Got some lines open for you. And in Texas, what's going on? Welcome to the Bright Side.
Hi, Ben.
Hey.
By the way, I was at the Fukushima conference and got to see you.
Oh, my gosh. It's on Skype. Thank you.
I'm having a knee problem.
Okay. Let's hear about it.
Well, I woke up one morning and I almost felt like I kind of had the flu, kind of hurt a little bit around the neck and everything. All that went away, but the knee stayed.
Now, what's up with the knee? Just instability or pain or?
Instability. I hear clicking once in a while.
All right. Well, you got other stuff going on, Janet. Nothing just happens just to the knee. So let's hear some other stuff here. If you don't know, you're gonna have to find it. But if you know, why don't you throw out some other stuff? Nobody just has a knee problem. So anything else going on? Are you overweight, diabetic, blood pressure problems?
I'm overweight.
Okay.
And I don't know about diabetic because I hadn't been to a doctor in years.
Roughly, how old are you?
68.
Okay, well, let's do, you got 6 decades of bad habits probably that we got to start working on here. First things first, the longest journey begins with a single step. Do you ever hear the principle of Kaizen, K-I-E-Z-E-N? You ever hear that term, Kaizen?
No.
Kaizen is a Japanese term. It means constant and never-ending improvement by using little steps. Whenever we want to make changes in something, we always think we got to make extreme changes or dramatic changes, but it doesn't really work that way. You can make extreme changes and dramatic changes, but you can have just as good benefits, just as good effects by making small, step-by-step, incremental changes. And that's true about everything in life, but it's especially true about health. So when our body starts to fall apart, when we're in our 50s or 60s and we start to notice effects, well, you can make dramatic changes, but you can also make little changes. And one of the easiest little changes you can make is by making little changes in the foods that you're eating and in digestive health. In fact, I don't even consider that a little change. That's a big change. Instability in the joints, whether it's the knees or the elbows or the hips, usually means some kind of inflammation. Assuming you didn't have any dramatic injury, assuming it's just kind of wear and tear, chances are you got some inflammation in that joint area. So you got to start thinking about anti-inflammation, and that means anti-inflammatory foods, or more appropriately, or more specifically, eliminating pro-inflammatory foods. That's the first thing you want to do when you have any kind of degenerative process. If you want to take a quick move, an easy move, a not really super dramatic move, but just something that you could do on a regular day-to-day basis, change the foods you eat. That means notice when you have a digestive problem and then eliminate that food. That's always the first step to take. The longest journey begins with a single step. The first single step that you want to take, no matter what you're dealing with, is you want to notice when you have some kind of digestive disturbance and associate it with a specific food and then eliminate that food. That is step number one. It's not to take a pill. It's not to take a formula. It's not to take a medication. I get letters all the time. What can I take for fibromyalgia? What can I take for my headache? What can I take for my migraines? What can I take? It doesn't work that way. The first thing you want to do is eliminate any digestive disturbances. That means staying away from problem foods. The second thing you want to do is start to patch up the gut. And as it turns out, the nutrients that you take to patch up the gut oftentimes have anti-inflammatory properties, so you can kind of kill two birds with one stone. If you want to use nutrients for the digestive system and anti-inflammation, digestive enzymes are at the top of the list. Using digestive enzymes, the ultimate enzymes from Youngevity are a great digestive enzyme formulation. It can help you with your foods, obviously, digestive enzymes, and they also have anti-inflammatory properties. So get on your ultimate enzymes, do 3 or 4 after every meal, and maybe do 2 or 3 in the middle of the day on an empty stomach. That'll get you the anti-inflammatory benefits. The glucogel caps, glucosamine and gelatin, which is made up of amino acids, not only will help your joints, but they'll also help your digestive system. So again, killing two birds with one stone, multifunctional nutritional supplements, the glucogel caps, and bone soup too, which contains glucosamine in the cartilage, again, will help your digestive system and will also help with any kind of inflammation that you have in your joints. Vitamin C, key player in building joint tissue and building connective tissue. Maybe not it's going to have direct benefits for the digestive system, but vitamin C is, as Dr. Thomas Levy calls it, the primal panacea, meaning it's pretty much good for everything. And considering it's non-toxic, you probably would be well advised to be using a good dose of vitamin C. You'll get that in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. And then essential fatty acids are also important for all joint health issues. Essential fatty acids, again, are multifunctional. Use the Ultimate EFAs, maybe 9 a day, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and 3 at night. Take them with your digestive enzymes and take them with your food. And then last but most certainly not least, making sure that you're on the Mighty 90 is always a good strategy. The essential fatty acids are part of the Mighty 90, so is vitamin C, but there's a whole bunch of other nutrients that you need to help build joint tissue as well. So number 1, focus on digestive health and wellness, eliminate problem foods. Number 2, use nutritional supplements like the glucogel caps, digestive enzymes. I didn't say the Z-radical, but that can also be helpful for digestion and anti-inflammation. Number 3, the primal panacea. Make sure you're getting enough vitamin C. Number 4, your essential fatty acids. And number 5, get on the Healthy Start Pack. Do it today, and you should notice some significant differences. Anything else, Janet? Does that help?
I am a member of Longevity.
Are you on the Healthy Start Pack?
Well, I have some of that. I haven't taken all of it. I do the tangy tangerine more than anything.
Well, get on the EFAs. Those are also important. Get on the whole thing. It's not going to help you sitting in your cabinet, Janet.
It's not sitting in the cabinet. I do try and do the EFAs from time to time. It's hard. I mean, I just have, I could choke a horse with all the stuff.
It doesn't matter. It's the active ingredients that are in food. Now, I'm not a big believer. I shouldn't say that. I wish we didn't have to supplement. I've said this so many times in the program, but you just can't get it from your food. It's not going to happen. And these things are essential, meaning they're like air. Janet, when you say, and I'm not going to pick on you here, I'm talking to everybody, including you, when we say things like, well, I just, I can't seem to take them, or I just don't remember to take them, that's like saying, I can't seem to breathe, or I just don't have time to breathe, or I just don't have the money, I can't afford to breathe. We would never say that. That's silly. But nutrition is as essential as oxygen. It's the same idea. So when we say, well, I can't take them, or I can't afford them, or they're too big, or whatever we say, we might as well say, well, I can't afford to breathe. Well, what's going to happen if you can't afford to breathe? You'll be dead. Now, nutrition isn't as, the negative effects of nutrition aren't as dramatic as the negative effects of suffocation, but they're there. And while it may take 68 years for them to show up, they're going to show up. So if you are not supplementing your diet with nutritional supplements, there is flat out no way your body's going to have what it needs to do. Can you survive? Yes. You're going to live fine. You'll probably live a good life, Janet. You're not going to drop dead necessarily, but your knees are going to break down. Your joints are going to break down. You're not going to have the energy that you need to just have the vim and vigor and zest for life that is our birthright. And that's why nutritional supplementation is so important. And that's why I do this program, you guys. We cannot access our God-given birthright of vim, vigor, vitality, renewal, health, and healing without getting on a good nutritional supplement program, without making sure, absolutely 100% sure that we're on the Mighty 90. Thank you so much, Anna. Got to move on. And we got to take a break as well. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 855-660-4261 is our number if you're on hold. Hang tight. We'll get to you when we come back from our break, which will be right after this. All right, we are back on The Bright Side. 855-660-4261 is our call-in number. Dianne in Michigan. What's going on? Welcome to The Bright Side.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great program. I listened to it. It gained so much knowledge and information.
Thank you so much.
What I'm calling about today is my 15-year-old grandson went in for surgery this morning on his shoulder for his cup rotator.
Okay.
He pulled it out in football.
Okay.
Supposedly, they were hoping there was going to be enough cartilage left there that they could go ahead and attach it. However, there wasn't. There wasn't the bone attached to the cartilage.
He must be a serious player. He's a serious athlete?
No, well, he's 15 years old, so yeah, but he just pulled it out, a freak accident, I guess.
Well, so he has no more cartilage? His cartilage is degraded already?
Well, evidently what they've done is they've screwed his arm back to his shoulder here.
Okay. Well,
and they put screws in it. Yeah, and I'm real upset about it because...
Well, there's lots of things you could do to help rebuild cartilage. I'm surprised that at the age of 15 that shouldn't happen, but nonetheless...
That's what they told him. There's no such thing as rebuilding cartilage.
Well, it's difficult, but I wouldn't say there's no such thing as building cartilage. Cartilage doesn't have a lot of blood supply, so it's hard to get nutrients to that area, but the body regenerates itself. Cartilage is always being broken down, and cartilage is always being built up. It's just, you don't have the same cartilage that you always had. It's always being built and broken down. That's the nature of the body. What they're saying is, and I've heard that said many times, I've had doctors tell me that, what they mean is there's not a lot of vascularity, there's not a lot of blood supply, so it's more difficult to nourish the cartilage and drive nutrients in. That having been said, there's tons of articles and literature as well as personal, including me personally, I've experienced my cartilage growing back by using nutrition, and a lot of people have. So here's what you need to do. A couple things. First of all, we got to keep the inflammation down, the post-surgical inflammation down. And by the way, folks, this is good. What I'm going to tell you now is for all surgical procedures. And while nutrition and nutritional supplementation are always important, they're especially important. Nutrition and nutritional supplementation is extra, super, especially important pre and post-surgery. Listen, pre and post. If you're loading up with nutrition, pre-surgery, as soon as that surgeon makes a cut in your body, the healing process will begin, and you'll have lots of, the healing process begins anyway as soon as that cut, as soon as the surgeon makes his cut. But if you have lots of nutrients in the body, it will facilitate the healing process and allow it to occur much quicker. So, pre and post surgery. Number one, you want to keep inflammation down. That means staying away from pro-inflammatory foods, as we were saying to our last caller, Janet in Texas. Keeping inflammation down by avoiding pro-inflammatory foods. Job number one. If any foods cause digestive distress, that's a food that's going to cause inflammation, and it's going to slow down the healing process. So, staying away from any digestive triggers, as I call them. That means foods that cause bowel movement problems, gas, bloating, all of that. If your grandson has any digestive issues, those are going to impair the healing process. Link his digestive symptoms to food, and then eliminate those foods. Secondly, protein. We are protein. Our cartilage is protein. Our body is protein. Protein is the distinguishing feature of biological life. It's what makes a human, and a bat, and a cat, and a rat, and a bird. Protein is the Brad Pitt of the body. Everything else is supporting actors. Protein is the leading man. So for the healing process, you need to have a good quality protein. The best is whey protein, by far. He should, especially if he's an athlete, he should be on the One World Whey. It wouldn't hurt him to throw in some extra amino acids, maybe glutamine, which is important for the building process, maybe a couple grams of glutamine. And if he's an athlete, these are all going to help him with muscle building too. Arginine is also very important for building. Arginine is really great if you have burns or any kind of scrapes or abrasions or healing, and also for the pre and post-surgical process too. So arginine, maybe a gram to 2 or 3 grams a day, somewhere along those lines. Using bone soup is another way to get nice liquid protein. Plus, as the cartilage from the chicken bones or whatever bones you use dissolves in the water when you're making your soup, all those cartilage factors will go into the body and go into your body, your grandson's body, and help him build cartilage. So, making sure he's getting these cartilage factors that you'll get in the bones from bone soup, that can also be helpful. Make sure you put a little apple cider vinegar or maybe some lemon or lime, something acidic in the soup, because that helps the cartilage dissolve. Then, in addition to protein, you also want to make sure he's got enough essential fatty acids. You can't grow proteins. You can't make proteins genetically at the gene level. You can't make proteins without good fats, without essential fats. You make sure he's on the essential fatty acids, the ultimate EFAs. And then for cartilage, the rate-limiting step, the key component, in addition to protein and fats, is vitamin C. Always use vitamin C when you're trying to build cartilage, when you're trying to build anything. You can't make connective tissue without vitamin C, and many of us are vitamin C deficient. That means the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I'd be sipping on the Beyond Tangy, have him sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine all day long. If you could have gotten if you could have gotten him pre-surgery, that would have been even better. But if you haven't, at least right away, get him on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and have him sipping that. You might also want to throw in the glucogel caps. The glucogel caps, as we were saying earlier, contain key components, building blocks of cartilage, and vitamin C and the glucogel caps work hand in hand. Then there's some miscellaneous, what we call anabolic building nutrients. Vitamin A, I call it vitamin anabolic. Vitamin A, anabolic means building. Making sure he's got 20,000 international units of vitamin A is important. Vitamin A and zinc are partners. 50 milligrams of zinc a day is a must-have for all teenagers, because zinc, for everybody really, but especially for kids who are growing, zinc is, in addition to being anabolic, it's very, very important for testosterone production and helping balance building hormones. So making sure he's got enough zinc, 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate can be helpful. Of course, the Mighty 90, that goes without saying, but in addition to the Mighty 90, which he'll get from the Healthy Start Pack, 50 milligrams a day of zinc and 20,000 international units a day of vitamin A. And then I'd be using 400 international units a day of vitamin E. Vitamin E is really neat, not just because we were talking earlier, it helps keep the cells from breaking down, it helps keep fats from oxidizing, but vitamin E has got some amazing healing properties. I've been using it in the skincare business for many years. Taking high doses of vitamin A or vitamin E can help accelerate skin healing. If you have a burn or if you have a pop a zit, taking high doses of vitamin E can help heal speed up the healing of your zit that you pop or scrapes or burns, but in addition, it can help speed up healing internally. So post-surgery, vitamin E can also be helpful. There's so much you could do pre and post-surgery.
I really appreciate this information. What about anything about stem cell research?
No. That's silly. You don't need any. I mean, stem cells, theoretically, in the next 30 or 40 years, we may be able to do something with stem cells, but the body runs on nutrients, and it heals on nutrients. It doesn't heal on stem cells. Yes, if you have some kind of horrible disease and you got to stick stem cells in there to regenerate tissue, but we are so far away from that. Actually, it's just starting now, I should say. They're starting to use stem cell therapy, and effectively, but it's not primal. It's not fundamental. Fundamental is nutrition. This is the nature of essentiality. When we say essential, we mean it's like air. And if you don't have air, you're going to suffocate. And if you don't have the mighty 90 essential nutrients, your biochemistry is going to suffocate in the sense that you're going to be starving. But it's not going to happen as dramatically, and that's why we miss it. The essential nature of nutrition is just that. It means nutrients, the mighty 90 nutrients, are like air. There's no essentiality to stem cells or any other medical therapy. There is an essentiality to nutrition, especially if you're dealing with some kind of surgery or you want to accelerate post-surgical healing. Does that help you, ma'am?
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your call. And that's really the bottom line of this, folks. We have to begin to understand that we cannot be healthy. We cannot maximize our health, our longevity, our vitality without the mighty 90 essential nutrients. It's not possible. And we've set the bar so low, we're just willing to accept not feeling great, not healing as well as we should, not feeling as well as we should. Little aches and pains that we just think are part of the living process. They're not part of the living process. Folks, if you are not feeling as good as you think you should, if you're not feeling as good as you think you're capable of, I cannot stress this more vociferously. You gotta get yourself on the mighty 90 essential nutrients. And if you haven't tried it yet, what are you waiting for? Even something as simple as the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which will cost you $50 to $50 a canister. It tastes awesome. Even something as simple as sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine all day, just sipping on it all day, will make you feel better, will allow you to access these healing processes, the built-in renewing process that we're born with. Even something as sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine all day long can make that significant a difference. It's $50 or $52 a canister. It tastes great. You can find out all about it at brightsideben.com. And once you get on it, you're going to want to share it with people. You're going to want to tell people about it. You're going to want your friends and your family to feel as good as you are feeling. And then you can start yourself a little business, earn thank you checks, earn some money, moving the Youngevity products, sharing the Youngevity products. You can find out all about it by calling the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. All right, that's all the time we have for today. We will continue talking about Lipofuscin and acetylcholine, this really, really impressive neurotransmitter, brain chemical. I want to tell you about an interesting relationship between cigarette smoking and acetylcholine. We'll talk about that tomorrow on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening, folks. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.